Good afternoon, welcome to Mankuli, karibuni sana. Thank you guys for all the feedback you've given me on the recipes. Na enjoy sana kujaribu new things, which I totally love because that is what drove me to do what I do. So without further ado, leo nataka kuonesha how to make homemade RIBENA juice. Najua hizi matunda mshaziona kwa barabara, they are everywhere. Mali popote panauzwa fruits mtazipata ziko. So I've been looking at them and wondering, and every time my daughter tells me, Mom, let's buy these fruits, but we buy them and eat them, but I wonder what else can we do with them. Hizi matunda ziko everywhere. Any fruit vendor you know has them in stock, and the best thing is they're so affordable. Like this bunch cost me 80 shillings. This is 80 shillings worth of vitamins and flavor and antioxidants that's contained in the grapes and berries. So I thought, what else can I do with them? Osha hiyo fruit vizuri sana, number one, very well. Kuna vumbi, and you just never know how they were handled. So osha vizuri with some running water. Then this one, I had my scale here. It's the recipe I'm working on calls for around half a kilo. This goes slightly beyond, but it's okay. So we'd say 500 grams. And nishazitoa from the bunch itself. So the next step would be to blend this. So I already have the blender here. What we'll do, we'll put them in the blender. I'm making this and my daughter is on her way from school. So she'll enjoy coming home to some fresh fruit juice. She actually thinks I'm making the actual RIBENA. So I can't wait to see how it turns out because this is a first time recipe, but let's learn together, guys. So I've already put it in the blender. The recipe calls for about half a liter of water, which is what I'll add. Would you look at that color? It just looks nice and amazing. Woohoo! So I'm excited about this, number one, because the color looks exactly like I was hoping it would look like. And the next step would be now for this mixture that we've already done. It smells vibrant and fresh and so berry-like. I love it. So the next step will be for us to warm this. We wouldn't warm it directly on the sufuria because that would be too much heat. Too much heat will destroy all the nutrients that are in the berry. The sufuria is about halfway full with water. The heat, a lot. Mostly because I want it to get heated pretty fast. Then once it has boiled and you can see the bubbles forming, we will reduce the heat to medium. Then we will place the bowl there. It's called a bain. I'm not sure if I have this spelling right. Inaitwa bain-marie. It helps with the even cooking and distribution of heat. Also for dishes that you don't want, you want them to get cooked with the heat, but you don't want the heat to be too intense because it will mess up the dish. So when you're melting some chocolate or you're cooking like the berries that we are doing, because the heat will just help the flavor to come through and be more intense, but we don't want to mess up the nutritional value or to overcook them because they might be a bit tart. As the water is boiling, it's almost actually hot enough. So nikisema hot enough, it's not like I've ever done this before, but I would imagine that's a kind of heat yenye ita heat easy berries to the temperature that we want. So I'll let it boil a bit, and as it boils, we've already blended the berries. They're nice, I like the texture, but there's also a lot of residue. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. Let me try and refocus. You will lose me a bit, but you'll get to see what I'm talking about here. Listen to that. So venye nilikuwa naonesha ingredients nilisahau kitu ingine moja ya muhimu. I'm sure nyote mko na this Nanuven bags. They are everywhere na zinasaidia sana, especially ukienda kwa soko. You have to have some spare of them, otherwise you'll end up having so many of them. So what I do is I always wash them and keep them aside. Every time naenda kwa soko na beba zangu cause najua zinaweza jaa huko. So hii nilikuwa nimeiosha juzi ndio iwe safi kabisa na niwe sure nikiitumia hapa iko okay. Itasaidia sana when you're sieving the juice cause like I said, we have so much pulp in here and residue, skin, seeds have been broken down. You'll see that when you do it. So the sieve I have has huge holes and that won't cut it for the juice. So nataka kuweka hii na naona maji yetu imeshachemka, so I'll hurry a bit. I'll fast forward. I hope it doesn't mess up. So in goes the juice. So thick. Now I want to get everything out. Yeah, so unaona hiyo juice inatoka tu vizuri on its own. So you want to squeeze so that everything comes out nicely. Remember we put only about half a liter of water for half a kilo of the berries, so you can work out the ratio, and if you want to make more, well and good, you can prolate the figures from there. If you want to make less, then still you can work it out. It's about 1:1. The ratio is 1:1. This is taking time, but it's coming through, guys. Another good thing about the berries is it has a lot of, for lack of a better word, I'd call it a flesh. The flesh, the inside is so full. It is so juicy. So inasaidia kuongeza volume ya hii juice. So as much as we had only put half a liter of water, utaona hii juice inakaa kuwa nyingi kiasi because the fruit itself imejibeba vizuri. So utaona tu I'm trying to squeeze so that it is splash and we also get everything out. Hii procedure inakaa ni kama one of those steps that would take time if you want to enjoy it completely. So I think at this point I would suggest, if you want to make this juice, find a way to hang this thing maybe for a couple of hours. Mi naharakisha juu wamoya hapo karibu na niko naharakisha because Sydney sasa nimwambia jina zake zote. Okay, anyway, naharakisha because Sid is on her way na ahadi ni deni and I won't hear the last of it if akipata isiwa ready. I think I know very well that she's been looking forward to this the whole day. Ndio imekuwa highlight. So nataka akifika iwe iko ready. The same time it's a first time recipe, so we live and we learn. Next time I know the do's and don'ts. So that's why you're on Mankuli, because I get to do this for you. So nimewatestia already. So mjue hii step to get the best yield. You might want to give it some time, don't rush it. I am squeezing. Gym of the day, people, gym of the day. You must squeeze berries. Yeah, see, even the bag may change color. It's taken the color of the fruits. Looks like a tie and dye session going on here. And of course, when you're doing this, you want to make sure you're wearing gloves, which I don't. My kitchen. Yeah, I don't wear gloves in here. I'll be kidding you, very rarely. But I make sure my hands are clean, and because I'm handling food that will just be ingested straight out of here. Melewa, I hope. So it feels like I've squeezed this kabisa. Wash my hands. have lots of cleaning up to do after this, guys, so don't worry. Yeah, so this is our juice. Yes, by the way, and it's also a bit thick. I'm not sure you can see. The color is there, it's showing. Yeah, now these are the hizi ndo masaibu za kuwa ndio cameraman na ndio unapika. But guys, I hope mnaelewa. It is it's, let me get a spoon. It's not the usual water we put in. You can see it's not the usual water that we put in. It's not water. It's now incorporated with the flesh, yeah, fruit and the skin and the seeds, so it's slightly more thicker. Yeah, the color, amazing. So what we'll do, our water has already boiled, so we'll put this here, and you have to be very careful when doing it. So also at this step, I'll add the sugar. This is about 1 cup of sugar. It's a lot, I know it's a lot. I think for a first time session, I'm really enjoying this. I don't know about you guys. Please leave me a comment, let me know. And also let me know, guys, between this and the other videos where I just with my hands, you only see my hands, which one do you enjoy more? I love this one because I don't know, I'm alone in the kitchen and it feels like my girlfriends are all up in here na tunakula story. But food itakuwa hata tamu zaidi. The water itself has been boiling for about 30 minutes. The juice is hot, fairly hot, and you may notice it's become thicker. Yeah, so the color is still okay. It's turning a bit dark. I'm not sure if it's darker, but it's now almost a light shade of brown from the vibrant maroon it was. And I would think that sukari, the sugar has been fully incorporated into the mixture. So the sugar is brown, of course. So once it's caramelized and melted and dissolved completely into the mixture, there's a change of color. Number 2, there's a heat, so of course there's going to be change of color. And I think now it is hot enough for us to remove it. Remember earlier when I tested it, it was already, I would say it would have been good at that, it would have been fine at that point. But the recipe calls for us to boil it for to let the water boil for about 30 minutes, which I think is what we've done. Yeah, another thing I thought as I was cleaning, ningekuwa na minjusi zingekuwa zinaiba hapo ndani. Yeah, next time. I hope mnatake hizi notes, but success. This is the mixture straight from the heat. I just removed it and I thought you guys might want to see it up close vile inakaa. Unaona hiyo color venye imetokea. And sorry, the camera is getting a bit cloudy, the lens. That's because the mixture is quite hot. Yes, so bear with me. All you need to do now is let it cool. You can put it in a mason jar or a glass jar, whichever form of jar you want, so that now you'll be serving from there. We'll let it cool, then I'll serve it over some ice cubes, depending on how sweet it is, and you would want to perhaps dilute it some more. You can add water.